Hey guys, Metal Viking 82 here, back with a new Viking Orations. Got another review for you today, and this time I'm going to be talking about the brand new second full length album from the band Afterlife, entitled Gates of Madness. And yeah, this was just recently released by the band themselves. And if you're not familiar with Afterlife, they are a melodic death metal band from Bilbao, Spain. Been around since 2015, featuring Rob Moisen on bass, Alex De Benito on the drums, Andrew Gill and John Flores handling the guitars, and finally Sophie on vocals. Now, her and Alex were also in the band Unbreath, which basically would morph into Afterlife. And yeah, I've been a fan of this band since their 2016 debut album, Requiem from the Abyss. I just absolutely love that album, and the Unbreath album as well. And been 6 years now since we've had an album from this band, so I was really excited to hear they had a new one coming out. Now that I've had a chance to actually listen to it, I just think this is an absolutely killer record. I It starts with this brief intro that kind of sounds like it's straight out of a horror film, and then just bam, you're hit with this heavy guitar riff. Then at the 38-second mark, things hit full speed with the fast riffing, the super quick double bass, and this absolutely killer scream from Sophie. There's just fantastic guitar work to be found all over this album. They're heavy yet melodic. They mix, fast-paced riffing with more, mid-paced, even chugged riffs at times, though primarily they stick to the more faster-paced stuff. Some really nice solos throughout this whole thing. I found a bit of a Nile vibe to some of the riffs. For example, track number 6, Divine Immortality, at the 145 mark. Definite Nile vibes to that riff. At the 234 mark in that song, there's a riff that's kind of genty, almost Fear Factory-ish. And then after things pick up pace again at the 249 mark, we are treated to another Nile-style riff at the 257 mark. Just love how heavy and nasty that sounds. The bass tone overall is, nice and thick, though it's not very high up in the mix, kind of working in tandem with the guitars to really lay down a solid backbone for the songs. Then when you get to track 9, the closing track, Hunter, at the 229 mark, there's this really cool sounding riff that comes in with these keyboards that kind of really set this atmosphere for the song. And by this time, really all the instruments have stopped except for those guitars and the keyboards. And then finally, at the 301 mark, the bass and drums join in, and you could finally properly hear the bass tone. And I think they got a really solid one on here when that part came up. The drum work on this album is just absolutely insane. I mean, lightning fast double bass, really great blast beats. They're kind of hyper blasty as well at times, I found, and so just really cool patterns, rolls, and fills. I mean, just a solid performance overall, I found, and the production on these drums are just absolutely powerful sounding. I just loved the drum sound. And I also really loved the use of the keyboards and the synths on this album, as they're not really overly done, and they're merely used to kind of accent the other instruments or even create a bit of an atmosphere whenever they're actually used, because they're not throughout the album in every single song, but they do make appearances quite a bit. Track number 4 is a really good example of how well they're utilized. Architect of Demise is the name of this song. And at the 240 mark, there's a really cool keyboard passage with this sort of like acoustic style riff accompanying it. And then I just love how it eventually goes back to the fast electric guitar riffs and the blast beats, yet it still maintains that keyboard acoustic guitar combination kind of working in tandem in the background with the more electric guitars and everything. And then finally towards the end of the song, it ends with this kind of like militaristic style drum roll beat that I thought sounded really cool. And then you top everything off with Sophie's vocals, and I think she just screams and growls her heart out on this album. Her vocals are really as powerful as they have ever been. I don't think she has lost a thing in the time in between these two albums. Really solid performance from her, really varied. Some of the other things I picked out, track number 3, Behind the Mask. It starts with this beautiful and kind of haunting piano intro, and then about 24 seconds in, the guitars kick in along with these, kind of slower blast beats, and it kind of has this little bit of a arch enemy meets cataclysm vibe to it. I don't know. That's kind of what I was picking up on. Then you get to track number 8, Drowned in Memories. Once the song finally kicks into high gear, about 9 seconds in, it really reminded me of Ravenous by Arch Enemy with that fast riffing and the double bass. Everything just really reminded me of that song. And really, I hated to even really use the Arch Enemy comparison because, everybody thinks, oh, that's only because it's melodic death metal with a female singer. No, that has nothing to do with it. If you hear this section, you will know why I say it sounds like Arch Enemy. Like I said, I think when you have a band like this, it gets cliche to compare them to Arch Enemy. But again, this was the only comparison I could make when I heard that section. And then finally at the 2:46 mark, we get the very first and really only clean vocals. Sans a little like small whispered spoken word part in the previous track. From Sophie, and she has a really beautiful voice, but she spends the majority of the album just growling and screaming her heart out and just turning in a real badass performance. Overall, I just think this album is an absolute banger of a record. The band is really firing on all cylinders here and turning in a really solid performance across the board. It's been a 6-year gap, as I said, in between albums, and it was well worth the wait. As this album is just really solid in my opinion, and I really cannot wait to see what the band has in store for us in the future. This gets a solid 9.5 out of 10 from me. Go check out Afterlife. I will leave a link down below to their Bandcamp so you can see and hear them for yourselves. Not pre-order because the album's out. Order the album, whether it be digitally, physically, whatever. I know shipping now from overseas is just absolutely crazy, not only price-wise, but you just never know when and if things are going to show up. But still, yeah, go show this band some support. They are an amazing band, in my opinion, and well worth your support. That is going to do it. Thank you so much for watching and subscribing. And until next time, stay brutal.